We're now ready to begin our second strip, and we're going to create a strip that looks exactly like this, but instead of just creating chain 5 spaces at the beginning of each row, we're now going to join the chain 5 space of our second strip to the chain 5 space that's existing in the first strip. And how we're going to do that is with a chain 2 slip stitch chain 2 that replicates this chain 5 space. If you've joined things in the past, you'll understand what I'm saying. If not, just follow along and I'll show you exactly what I mean. We're going to start by tying our crochet hook back, or tying our yarn back onto our crochet hook. And this time we're going to start with a chain 15. Okay, so now we're going to slip stitch into the first chain 5 space on the adjacent strip, chain 2. Okay, now to work our setup row on our beginning chain, we're going to skip chain 2, skip slip stitch, skip chain 2. And if you're having trouble recognizing these, what we're ultimately trying to do is double crochet into the last chain 13. So if you want to count back, that's a great way to check to make sure that you're not miscounting in that congested area here. So we're going to count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this is the chain I want to start working my first double crochet. Okay, so I'll set this down so you can see now. We're going to finish up our setup row same as we did our first one, with 1 double crochet in each of the 13 chains after the chain 5 space. Now our chain 5 space here is attached to the chain 5 space on the adjacent strip, but it's done so with a chain 2 slip stitch chain 2, which replicates the chain 5 space and joins it at the same time. How awesome is that? Anyway, let's continue on. And continue on with our setup row of working 13 double crochets across the 13 remaining beginning chains. This is what it should look like at the end of setup row of the second strip. For row 1, it's exactly the same as it is on the first strip, and all strips, odd number rows are the exact same. We're going to chain 5 and turn our work and work 1 double crochet in each stitch across, which should be a total of 13. And this is what the end of row 1 of the second strip should look like. Okay, all odd numbered rows, row 1s, are exactly the same as they were on the first strip, but it's all of the even numbered rows, and starting with row 2 now, that's going to be different. We're going to be joining the chain 5 space to the adjacent chain 5 space on the opposite strip by doing a chain 2 slip stitch chain 2 that counts as that chain 5 space. So let's begin row 2, and we're going to chain 2, slip stitch into the next chain 5 space on our adjacent strip, chain 2, turn our work, and that chain 2 slip stitch chain 2 is the equivalent of a chain 5 space. We're now going to work 1 double crochet each into the first 5 double crochets, And the rest of this row is exactly the same as row 2 on the first strip, and exactly the same as you'll do all remaining row 2s. Okay, we did 1 double crochet each into the first 5 stitches, chain 3, skip 1 stitch, 3 double crochet cluster in the next stitch. So we've got a yarn over our hook, insert your hook in the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert your hook in the same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert your hook in the same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through all 4 loops on your hook. Chain 3, skip 1 stitch, and 1 double crochet each into the last 5 stitches. Okay, this is what the end of row 2 of our second strip should look like. Row 3 of our second strip is exactly the same as row 3 on our first strip. Chain 5, turn our work, 1 double crochet each into the first 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochet cluster in the side of that last stitch worked, skip the next 3 stitches, 1 double crochet in the next chain 3 space, or sorry, 1 single crochet in the next chain 3 space, 1 single crochet in the next cluster, and 1 single crochet in the next chain 3 space, chain 3, 2 double crochet cluster in the side of the last stitch worked, skip the next 3 stitches, and 1 double crochet into each of the last 2 double crochets. And that's what the end of row 3 should look like on our second strip. Row 4 is another even numbered row, so this is where we're going to replicate our chain 5 space at the beginning of the row with a chain 2, slip stitch into the chain 5 space on the adjacent motif, chain 2, and then the rest of row 4 will be identical to the row 4 on strip 1. So we'll start with a chain 2, slip stitch into the next chain 5 space on the adjacent strip, chain 2, turn our work, 1 double crochet each into the first 2 double crochets, chain 7, skip the cluster stitch and work 1 single crochet into each of the next 3 single crochets, chain 7, skip the cluster stitch and work 1 double crochet into each of the last 2 double crochets. And this is what the end of row 4 should look like on the second strip. Row 5 is worked exactly the same way on the second strip as it was on the first, and we're going to start with a chain 5. Whoops. There's a chain 5. We're going to turn our work. Work 1 double crochet each into the first 2 double crochets. Three double crochets into the chain 7 space. Chain 3, skip the first single crochet and work a 3 double crochet cluster into the second single crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochets in the next chain 7 space, one double crochet each into the last 2 double crochets, and this is what the end of row 5 should look like on the second strip. Row 6 is our next even numbered row, so we're going to replicate our chain 5 space at the beginning of the row with a chain 2, slip stitch, chain 2, so we can join it to our first strip. So we'll start with a chain 2, slip stitch into the chain 5 space on the next chain 5 space on the adjacent strip, chain 2, turn our work, and now we'll work 1 double crochet into each of the first 5 double crochets, one double crochet in the next chain 3 space, 1 double crochet in the next cluster, 1 double crochet in the next chain 3 space, and 1 double crochet each in the last 5 double crochets. And this is what the end of row 6 should look like on the second strip. Row 7 on the second strip, and each remaining row 7 is worked identically to the first strip because it's an odd numbered row and doesn't involve any joining. We're going to start with a chain 5, turn our work, and work 1 double crochet into each of the 13 double crochets across. This is what the end of row 7 should look like. And now we've reached the end of our repeat. You want to repeat rows 2 through 7 for the remainder of the second strip until you've completed all of the joining to the first strip. And this is how you will continue on as you join all of the other strips. Please visit my website for the free pattern download and step-by-step photo tutorial. The link is in the video description below. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos.